So religion has been the biggest problem. Religion has been the biggest region of violence on the earth. However, it has also been the region of some very, very good things. Now, right now, in the current stage, Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism are not big problem to the world peace. However, the certain segment, only a tiny minority in Islam, is like, I will say 90% of the Muslims have no relation to the current violence that is being done on the name of Islam. However, there is this minority that is justifying their actions on the name of Islam. And whenever you question anything about them, both sides, the moderates and the violents, both say, read the Quran, read the Quran. Well, maybe we should read the Quran, because the problem is that most of the liberals or the Western panelists on television cameras, they do not understand it, and even if they do understand it, they do not share their knowledge with everyone. Instead of that, they try to spin the words and try to do meaningless and senseless debates. So let's not fall in that trap. Let's actually try to obtain certain knowledge. Let's actually try to find the truth. So I will say, let's start reading the Quran. Most of the religious people and most of the hardcore left-wing liberals, they are intellectually lazy. If you do not have time to learn Arabic, just read the translations. You will understand it. You will certainly not understand the poetry behind it. Even if there is a debate in translations, there is no debate that there has been done. There are people who are doing extensive research from a long time, and they have come up with very, very specific words to translate in English, and it's authentic, and it actually says, it conveys the meaning what Quran says. The poetry is certainly not as beautiful as it's in Arabic, that we can accept, but it does not mean that non-Arabic speaker cannot understand Quran. More than 80% Muslims are not Arabic, and more are leaving Arabia every day because of problems in the Middle East. So let's not go in so many details. Let's start reading it. The first chapter of the Quran is Al-Fatihah. The Al-Fatihah is the opening Surah of Quran. A Surah is nothing but a chapter, and an ayat is nothing but a verse. So a surah is a chapter, an ayat is a verse. So let's start by the first. So let's start by the very first chapter and very first ayat. Rahman Rahim. Rahman Rahim, basically it means Rahim is merciful. So the second chapter is, so the second ayat is, all praises is to, so in the name of, So second is again in the all praises to Allah, Lord of words, patient mercy. So again is saying how merciful Allah is. This is how Quran. So this is how Quran starts. Allah is very merciful, even if He is the master of Day of Judgment. It says, "It is you we worship, and you we ask for help." Now you see the translation. There are two versions you can see. In the Pickthall translation, is saying, "Thee alone we worship, Thee alone we ask for help." And this is the correct translation, because if you go to the Arabic version, it says "you alone." So I will go with Pickthall translation here. "Thee alone we worship, Thee alone we ask for help." A Muslim and Allah is not same as other religions. In Islam, a Muslim is slave of Allah. So and the Allah is his master. So like a master owns his slave, this slave cannot work for anyone else. So this slave cannot also pray for anyone else. So that is why they are saying that it is only you we alone worship, and you only we ask for help. So if a Muslim is praying anyone else, he is not a Muslim, he is an apostate. And that is why you will see that why IS is killing so many secular people. And then he is asking for merciful Allah to show him his straight path and path to those upon whom he has bestowed favor, and not of those who have invoked your anger, of those who are astray. There is a big debate between academics. One group is saying that this verse is referring people who have invoked wrath of God, wrath of Allah as Jews, and who are astray as Christians. And other group is saying no, this ayat is not, and other is saying this ayat is not talking about any religion at all. What it is saying, that the people who have stole or done crimes, so they are facing the wrath of Allah. People who have done crimes or any kind of such nut jobs, they are facing wrath of Allah. And people who are dishonest, they are already in astray. So there is a conflict. It may be true, it may not be true. So we should take always the positive side. So let's say if let's say if you have stolen, if you have done some violence or any kind of hatred against humans, then you are going to invoke wrath of Allah. So this complete our chapter 1 of Quran. This is a very small chapter. There are many other chapters who are really, really large. So and it's important to understand that this was not the first chapter that was revealed to Muhammad. This was actually the fifth. But this was the first chapter which was revealed completely. So it did complete first. Interesting story about it. Ibn Abbas reported that while Gabriel was sitting upon Apostle, he heard a cracking sound above him. He lifted his head and said, "This as a gate opened in heaven today, which had never been opened before. Then, when an angel descended through it, he said, "This is an angel who have came down to the earth, who had never come down before." He greeted and said, "Rejoice in two lights given to you, which have not been given to any prophet before." Fatihah al-Kitab and the concluding verse of Surah al-Baqarah. You will never recite a letter from them for which you will not be given a reward. So there are a lot of stories around this chapter, and as I said, that is why this is considered Surah al-Fatihah is the most important chapter of the Quran. So that ends here. Let me know what do you think of my review, if I have done some mistakes, or how I can improve, or what I can do better. Thanks for your time. Thank you so much.